Alright, so in our next lecture, we're going to go through chapters 9 and 10. In chapter 9, we're going to look at agricultural statistics. Again, there are many statistics that we created, but of course, in this chapter, we're interested in land usage during the dry and rainy season, but also what are the type of land uses during the rainy season. Okay, and of course, as we've been doing in the previous, we're going to load our data set and then also open a document and also put a heading there that this is chapter 9. We're looking at agricultural statistics of survey responses. Now, again, if you want to see, the type of variables that we have, the many that we generated during the first course, we can select a lot of data here, but in this course, what we want is just to make sure that there are just two variables that we'll be interested in, and then we can also just select those that are there. Here, for instance, did any of you remember cultivate or any land? This is in the rainy season, and the dry season is a simple yes no. There are others who purchase seeds. Also looking at what kind of seeds they also purchased, right? But we're just interested in understanding these two, and then we'll do the same where we're going to append these statistics to our document. And also, if you look, we do have a good number of observations. So here, so about 77% said yes, they cultivate on their land, while the 23% said that they don't. And this is the situation in the dry season, where we have about 17% saying yes, we do cultivate on the land during the dry season. Status of garden, those who cultivated, those who rented out, and then these are the other things that the land is used for. And of course, if they purchase seed or not, you could see that it's only a few people who did that. What that means is others are pretty much using or recycling seeds rather than purchasing them. All right. And then what we're going to do is we look at land usage, and then maybe just to relabel the variables that this is land cultivated in the rainy season, land cultivated in the dry season, and then as we did describe this, looking at these statistics. All right, and then if we run this, we'll see that and also export the table. You see that pretty much there are many in the districts that they use the land during the rainy season, but few who cultivate it during the dry season. Okay, and that's a good table that we can also append to our Word document. Again, here we're just collecting this information and then appending it to the table as we did, and then we save that. We save this to our Word document. As you can see that it has also saved the information. Then next, we're going to run the land use types. Let's see, the same table. We're going to generate a table, and we'll name it table 4. And also you can see that those who cultivated on their land, rented out, and then the various statistics that are there. You could see that in the other categories, the land is not pretty much used for that. And then also this also gives you an idea that there's no land market in pretty much almost all the districts where land is just left fallow. It's particularly looking at periods when one could easily rent it out and earn some money. So with those statistics, we can also append the table into our document. We collect we collect the table, and then we put it in as table 4. And then similar process, we analyze, looking at what are the statistics that are coming there, also indicating that other land use types are not also the communities are not also using these other land use types, right? Okay, so then once that is done, we also create, append the Word document, and then also, as usual, as we did, we close the chapter and also append it to the document that we had created, right? Then next, what we do is, looking at chapter 10. Now, chapter 10 also looks at community variables. These are also important because, you need to understand what are some of the aspects of the community that the household also benefits from. So we're going to look at access to paved roads. We're also going to look at economic activities available in communities, and then also community events, and then we'll finish off with the availability of community projects. These are the group variables that we had created in the first part of this course, and what we're doing now is just to analyze that data. Similar, we're going to load the data file, and then just to describe the variables that we had created: main road access type, community economic activity, projects, and then also community events. And then if we tab them, also without the labels, you see that these are the statistics, right? Those who have access to tarmac road, about 18%, in the country. And then these are also the access types. The main access roads that people have, it's the dirt roads, which means that road infrastructure or road network in Malawi is not that well constructed. So that's also a problem, because if you look at access to markets, you need good roads. It means that people have problems accessing markets, and that's also a cost on the household. So as usual, we're going to open a document and also call the chapter community characteristics of survey responses, right? And then the first part, we're going to use also a table, and then we can also see the same process that we did in chapter 9, and then also end with appending the results to our document. Let's just run that. That's the chapter 1. Sorry, I didn't open the document, so it's supposed to run this. Let's run it, and then we need to now append this to this open document. All right. Again, you could see that in some cases, people reported that they don't have access to a tarmac road. So that also tells you where exactly most of the survey responses were, pretty much in the really rural areas where they are far away from the main roads, for instance. But what it means in most cases, the secondary or tertiary roads are pretty much not tarmac. And then you could see that most of them, they're saying, okay, yes, we do have access to a dirt road, and also a few that also reported that they were having access to a gravel road or a graded road. Okay. Similar thing with section 2, economic activities available in the communities. We can also list them in a table, and then same process. We're going to run and save the results. Right? This is the analysis that you do after you've also looked at the table, and then again the statistics also show you that in most cases that most of these economic activities are agriculture, less about some in trade or services, but pretty much if you look at production, manufacturing, professional sectors, really very low. And you could see that in some cases, in this case, professional sectors are happening in the cities, and a little bit of manufacturing in the cities also gives you an idea of how the population, whether they have access to these for example jobs that may be offered if there is a production plant, manufacturing plant, or a professional professional services, right? Then in section 3 we're going to put community events. Again, we present them in a table, and then after that we analyze the table and then append those results in our open Word document. Again, similar to our analysis, you see that in most cases the natural disasters, for instance, you're looking at droughts, flooding, they're common, and then you could see the statistics are quite high. Health and diseases are also a concern, but also economic impacts, high prices. These are some of the things that the community also has as a problem. Then lastly, we're going to look at availability of community projects, and then also do the analysis and then append the analysis to the table, right? And then we're just saying here we run it. Let's just run it, and then of course we're closing the document here. We should now be able to append those results to our Word document that we've been creating during this course. So you could see crop management aspects are also common in some, but not in many. For instance, in the cities, seems like it's not pretty much about farming. Also the island, as well as the city in the north. But in some cases, still, you could see that the percentages are also low, not that high. Soil health is not quite common, and then also sustainable agriculture, also not that common, and only a few instances in other areas. Those who didn't even report, you could see that this is also a concern, that perhaps what it means that most of these crop management, soil health, sustainable agriculture are not widely utilized in many parts of the country, and that could also be a concern for policymakers to find a way of how best they can manage these crucial agricultural practices, particularly looking at an economy that's reliant on agricultural production. So next chapter we're going to look at chapter 11, which is now looking at poverty metrics and also the subjective assessment of one's well-being in the community.